In what he meant to say was, if an initiative or a focus doesn't flow top down, it will not succeed. And here we had the Reddys, Dr. Anji Reddy, our Vice Chairman and CEO, Dr. G.V. Prasad, and our CEO, Satish Reddy, all of them totally committed to being a sustainable organization, which is why we got into this journey in the first place. It's also about bottoms-up approach, total employee involvement, but again, I says, it's very important that this start right. So this framework, the reports are all based on the GRI reporting framework. We disclose outcome and results that occur in the reporting period, the same as the financial year. And like we said, we're looking at trying to integrate it into one report, and this year's annual report focusing on sustainability is one start we made. What are these reports? What's purpose they serve? I mean, a report, and again, this is the report that you talk of. The reports serve a purpose of being able to benchmark. Like they said, whatever can be measured only can be improved. So performance that way, measuring, assessing sustainability performance, laws, norms, codes, voluntary initiatives also need to be reflected, and once we report it, talk of it. Sometimes people ask me, why not an A+? What is an A+ report? I don't know if you've been through that. A+ report is one that meets most of the core parameters plus more and is externally assured. It is not about a rating that a company strives for. We never ever tried to strive for a rating, nor even realized that external assurance is something that is nice to have but not required. It takes some time, takes some money, and doesn't end up with too much of value. So the focus has been to ensure that we live the sustainability report, live the sustainability journey, and that's more important than that. So demonstrating how the organization influences and is influenced by expectations about sustainable development is the way we looked at it. And to compare the various businesses, various units, 14 locations spread across various geographies, how we could use this as a benchmarking tool to compare performance between units was the way we tried to focus on sustainability. So the reasons we got in sustainability are diverse. It starts with the total management commitment, looks at the focus, looks at integrating with our purpose. Our entire corporate strategy was evolved around sustainability. Our guiding principles have sustainability at the platform, and that's how the entire journey had commenced. And we talked about, even Dr. Reddy says, we talked about sustainability even before we knew that we were already doing a lot of focus towards that. Like I said, going ahead of the standards, leading rather than lagging, looking at moral ownership rather than legal compliance. I think a large part of the economics is normally understood, and a lot of you, perhaps as part of the courses somewhere, you look at the balance sheet, are able to look at annual reports, and I'm sure that it's clearly understood. It's money, of course, that talks. A lot of the social also is expressed and is easy to understand and relate to. But what is so challenging, and I believe there's a course out here that talks about diploma in environmental management, which is, I think, not the most popular subject. Yeah, and the reason that I would focus on this is that this is something very critical to all our lives, to the planet, to the people, and therefore the profits thereof. The environmental dimension of sustainability talks of, again, is something that you'll be getting in a new campus also, living and non-living natural systems, land, air, water, and biodiversity. There was a major spill that brought an organization down to its feet. You heard of the Gulf of Mexico spill, friends? You also heard what's close by happened in Bombay on the way to Elephanta, a spill. And after 8 days, again there was one more where there was a reef that was struck by another ship. Again, all these are something that do affect a life, be it aquatic, marine or whatever, and all these have an impact. It's all a cycle, and I guess a cycle is something that we should, if we try and disturb it, it really creates chaos and something that we should not fiddle with. Providing concise disclosures on materials, energy, water, biodiversity, emissions, effluents, waste, products and service, compliance, and again transportation hazards. These are the key environmental factors, and in a way all these are key. One of the biggest hurdles in beginning a sustainability journey again is about tackling environmental compliance. It's the toughest of the elements to look at, and therefore the biggest challenge is on environmental management accounting. It's easy to say monitor the GHG, greenhouse gas emissions, look at the ODS, what's ozone depleting. We're talking of oxygen depleting, and then we're talking of ozone depleting substances. How do you monitor it? How do you monitor the effluent? How do you monitor the TDS, the dissolved solids? How do we get around to doing that across energy, across various units, multi-locations? How are you able to put it together? How do you know that water consumption is measurable? What are the water units? How do you measure it in the first place? I think in the first year of reporting, every organization goes through this throes of being unable to relate to how to measure it. And how do you do that? How do you start? And if you've got a small way of doing it, like we say, what gets measured only gets done and gets implemented. One of the important things we did was create on the internet and the in-house portal of Dr. Reddy's something that helped creating, in fact, it's a database for all of the MIS reports. Like you can normally log in all the management information system online. You have all the guidelines on safety, health, environment, and a lot of sustainability indicators out there. Also the audit reports, investigation reports. The entire compliance management is absolutely online. And how it looks? Something like this. Again, this is something is the home page, and it's again important to realize that we all, with a lot of data, a lot of analysis is required. And what follows a lot of analysis? Paralysis. So very important to have the data in a manner that is structured, and again the GRI guidelines gives one way of being able to structure that, measure that absolutely well, and this is how it worked well in terms of putting it on the internet so that all the units would measure it. All the data of course will be audited, although we don't have external assurance since the beginning, except the first year, we've got it internally assured, random audits etc. to ensure that we're able to check all the data out. Next. Again, a lot of environmental reports, a lot of data comes through a lot of these. This is again a simple basic accounting principle. It's, I would not like you to interpret this as anything other in of enterprise solutions. This talks of basically the inputs and the outputs, and what are the inputs? They could be water, energy, solvent, there could be solid waste outputs, liquid waste outputs, emissions and outputs, and how would you categorize them? And again it begins with categorizing it. When you start measuring it, only then you would find out that you need to categorize, segregate kind of waste, hazardous to non-hazardous. Looking at effluent, industrial and domestic, being able to separate those. This year of course Pune has not seen so much of rains, but a lot of the rains this year across the country have affected units because the water gets totally like mixed up and the effluent gets totally mixed, industrial and domestic, creating a big issue. So how you are able to ensure that you are able to recycle those? You could have multiple effect evaporators in ways by which you could ensure that they are segregated, the organics are evaporated, the residues are fed back, consumed well. You could segregate the streams, look at what are the streams that could perhaps need some way of separate treatment, maybe reverse osmosis processes, etc. Looking at air emissions which lead to fuel burning and process. Before, all these leads to a sales turnover, and everything is measured on the basis of the sales, because sometimes manufacturing could be across various locations. But looking at the various parameters like cost, manpower, the data on safety, the compliance, the notices, complaints, also legal, statutory, looking at the gas and the ozone depleting substances. The reason I like to dwell on this is because this is a field which is not very popular in our country, and in the campuses this is something that is a course that is not very top of the mind. Having said that, I also come from a background where, like I was introduced, I began in the technical services, went into operations and finally got into quality and then SHE. The E, the ending, the E of all that we do is what can create the biggest jerk to our planet, and that is why this is very important, because it relates to all of us. Relates to each one of us in every way. As we just mentioned, clean drinking water, availability of that itself is such a rarity, and all that we do in terms of the water is something that is critical out here. The air that we breathe, the water that we drink, and the waste that is generated and can get reconsumed and hurt us all is something that is very important. In the morning I was talking of one of the initiatives that a lot of people do, and somebody mentioned the hotel that we had, the waste, and we talked about the food waste. The waste is served to the poor until the day that somebody got food poisoned and they stopped doing it. So again, it's about the quality of all that we do, and all this is very critical in the kind of pharma business we are in, because the quality is the end product, and again integrating quality by design is very critical. Until you do that, it will be very difficult to ensure that output is very clear. So this is ensuring that the environmental compliance is tracked, measured. This is the way it will come out, and again to give you a feel, because it's not so difficult, it's not rocket science, it's very it's a lot of data and you can get stuck under it, and one of the biggest challenges we had is having so much of data that we really got stuck in the first year, but this is something that can help manage it, and you're able to look at the three units. We talked about the three streams. This is how we look at each of the strategic business units would have monthly reporting which can be read and analyzed at all levels, and can be extracted to various formats like Excel, so you can track it, trend it, and do what you want with it. Again, like I said, this web system is a good platform for our sustainability report. So this is the kind of platform we have, and a similar look. You can look at, just to relate to what we have, it's something that there is, and we're talking of just this afternoon about a big famine in Russia, and talking of the prices of grain going up, and talking of one part of India is always having floods, one part is having a drought, but again looking at how we can consume and conserve water. So this is how the water is reflected. Sometimes between various units, being able to measure and reflect these units in MIS and a KPI that can be tracked reflects a barometer of progress. And very simply what we try and do is the unit that does well, we put it as a nice green, the unit that is improving, we put it as amber, and the unit that's doing bad, we put it as red. So the kind of color coding or a kind of traffic signaling which works well to create a competition between various units, even in a scorecard, in a grade card, in the report card, it doesn't tell you you're good or bad, but just tells you relatively. Again, it's all relative. If you compare all the standards and norms versus the environmental standards and statutes and the limits, you just might be far away from where they are. But ultimately, internal benchmarking, as I said, again the way of looking at sustainability and progressing thereof. Our first year of sustainability report was, again, this is the first report that comes out. And you can see, and something that we always, our CEO always says, the smile on the face of this girl child is something that we all work towards, the purpose. And what better way to look at this than through a nice crayon sketch of a effluent treatment plant. They say we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. This is the first sustainability report. And if you can look at this in light of, from a child's perspective, you might feel what is a dirty kind of effort to recycle water and build up a system by which you're looking at zero effluent discharge is again got a lot of implications. So again the chart just shows us in some way how each of the units does manage a zero liquid discharge. Like I said, we are proud at Dr. Reddy's to be able to do that before. It's been a model, and while we've been able to demonstrate it successfully, we are the case study across the Pollution Control Board takes, like they say, Dr. Reddy's as the benchmark across all the industries. So this is something that we very focused on in sustainable development. We wanted to talk of some more. Again, this is developed in 2004 and this is how it happened, and this is now part of our corporate philosophy, and like we said, we plan this as part of the zero liquid discharge in all the units, in all the new projects.